drop them all.
Now, I'm going to play you a clip about her answer on Iran. Now, if you have listened to Andrew and I talking about Iran, before they got off the Iran deal, before the sanctions were put in place, and this same answers I gave in press TV interviews, etc., back in March and January, etc., you can go back and see those. I don't have those clips ready, but I remember doing them. Before all this, before the boat seizures, before mysterious bombs hit other oil ships, and of course, long before the Saudi oil fields were set on fire. Sorry, that makes me laugh. We were saying, hypothetically, all the direction that was going toward with Iran, we said, well, what would it be like if the U.S. had to go to war with Iran? Like, yes, yeah, America can defeat Iran militarily if they want to lose about 10,000 personnel and spend trillions of dollars and all, and it isn't worth it because Iran's not a threat to the United States, and it's not in America's interest to prevent Iran from selling oil, to prevent Iran from having nuclear power for electricity, or to be messing with them or anyone else in the Middle East at all. But we're doing it because that's what the Zionists want. They run our press, and the press has influence on our elections and politicians. So we've said how Iran is bigger than Iraq, stronger population, not backing down, etc., not softened up by, etc., by the sanctions have not worked. Black markets are in place. They control the Strait of Hormuz, etc., etc. Now listen to Tulsi, because she just layeth the smacketh downeth on Gaylord Graham, and it is worth it just for that. Here we go. Oh, after this. El Pepe donates too. You look cute today, Rye. Any chance you're by? I'm married and you're drunk. Here we go with Iran.
Would end this cycle of retaliation, this tit for tat that we're seeing. What happened in Saudi Arabia was an act of retaliation to the sanctions and the blockade against Iran and basically stopping them from being able to sell any of their oil on the market.
You'd remove the sanctions.
I would get Iran and the United States to re-enter the Iran nuclear agreement to make sure that Iran is not continuing to move forward in building a nuclear weapon, get those inspectors back in there, and I would remove those crippling sanctions.
I'm going to quote Lindsey Graham, a weak response invites more aggression.
This is the problem with people like Lindsey Graham is they advocate for things like punish. We've got to punish Iran for this. Punishment is not a goal or objective. The question is, how does that help us accomplish our objective?
Because, says the Wall Street Journal, they sense weakness. If we are strong, they'll behave.
So if we are strong and we do what Lindsey Graham says and we come in with a strong response and a counterattack to Iran, a retaliatory attack, how does then Iran respond? These are the questions that these policymakers in the media too often don't ask. Well, what does Iran then do?
Iran would say, well, Iran knows we mean business and they'll behave better.
And when has that happened? if Iran has given no sign, so Iran has given no signs of surrender. They have stated very clearly their military is ready to go to war, and that they will withstand any counterattacks that we have. This is not a joke. I mean, Iran is a much larger country than Iraq. Their military is much stronger, many more people, and they use both conventional and unconventional warfare tactics. So if we follow down the Lindsey Graham approach, what we end up with is a continuation and an escalation of this tit-for-tat retaliation, attack, counterattack, and what it will result in is an all-out inferno, not only in Iran, but across the entire region. It's unimaginable to think about how many American lives, how many servicemen and women would lose their lives in such a war, how many people in the region would be killed, refugees forced to flee, and how many more trillions of our taxpayer dollars would be taken out of our pockets, out of our communities, to go and pay for a war that is completely unnecessary and that actually undermines our national security.
I saw. Okay, so trying to be serious, I was watching. I don't need these because there's no one to interview. I was watching the comments as Tulsi was talking there, and I'm sorry I didn't catch the name G something, but they said, "In sanctions on Iran, what's next? Stop arming terrorists?" Yeah, actually her first answer was stop arming terrorists in Syria. Now, this ought to be, I don't know, common sense. Stop arming Al Qaeda. That'd be a good idea. You know, stop threatening Iran because there's nothing. Now, she did cuck a little and say we have to stop them from getting a nuclear bomb and put the inspectors in there. I think that's her being practical because she is running for president. And it fine. What do they care? They're not really building anything. It's just an expense on the UN or whatever to send inspectors in there. It doesn't matter because we never listened to them. The IAEA cleared Iraq of having any weapons of mass destruction, and we invaded anyway. So what? You know, what's the point? But hopefully, with her being president, it would be different. But you'd have to change a lot of other countries in the world. They're not going to let her be president. But let's go ahead and try. I just like that a congressman is admitting that Al Qaeda was armed by the United States, and that this Lindsey Gaylord Graham strategy of tit-for-tat escalation would just end up in a firestorm across the entire region, because that's exactly what will happen. We're teetering on the brink of a major war, not World War III, perhaps, but a major war. Iran has to sell its oil. Has to. Its economy is completely dependent on it. And the Trump administration, the Trump regime, is saying, no, you can't. Unilaterally. Because that's what Israel wants. That's what the Kushner clan wants them to do. And it has led to an attack on Saudi oil fields, which is hilarious, albeit it will escalate. It has led to the capture of British ships because they also captured Iranian ships first. Unknown bombings on other ships. It's really close to closing down the Strait of Hormuz, period, which would mean no Saudi oil, no UAE oil, no Bahrain, no Qatar, and of course Iran's oil itself shut off. What will the world do?
Corrupt them all.